Hey guys, it's Jessie V. So today I thought I would give you guys a little update on Winnii because some more things have happened with her, and I also promised you that every couple months I would tell you about how she's doing, and gosh, she always gets herself into trouble. And while I was thinking of what I could talk about in this video, I also had some other sort of pet stories come to mind, so I'll probably just throw in a couple of those in here as well because I know you guys like story times and these are like mini story times. So as you can tell by the title of this video, we did have a little incident with Winnii lately. I think it was maybe about 4 days ago. My mom and I were headed out the door to go shopping, and so we opened the front door and my mom realizes she forgot her purse. So I'm just standing there with the door open, I'm just texting on my phone. My mom's inside looking for her bag and I don't realize that as the doors open, Winnii ran out. So when I go to put my phone back in my pocket, I look around and I see Winnii out on the front yard, and she doesn't have a leash on, she doesn't have anything on, she's just out there on her own, looking quite happy to be out of the house actually. So because Winnii likes us to chase her and she likes to be super crazy, I began to approach her very slowly because I was thinking, okay, if I approach her slowly, I tell her I have a treat, maybe she'll come back into the house. But Winnii is super smart, and I think she realized that she was finally out free on her own, which she never gets to do. We always have a leash on her obviously because we don't want her running away. And smart Winnii, the second I started approaching her, she just dashed. She ran for it. And the scary thing was that she didn't run on the sidewalk. She ran basically in the middle of the road. And yes, we're in a neighborhood, so there's not a lot of cars, but you never know if a car is just gonna come around the corner. So she's running away. I'm freaking out. I basically call for my mom to call my dad to come help me. And here in Canada, it's there's snow and ice everywhere, all over the place. So I'm running down the road behind her. She's super far ahead because she runs so fast. And I'm literally slipping on ice. I probably fell like 2 times. And it must have been such a sight to all of the neighbors watching, because if they looked out their windows, all they would see was this little tiny chunky dog running down the road and me like falling on my butt, falling forward. Literally, I was skating down the road, okay? And I'm not a good skater. So I'm like taking my phone out of my pocket and I'm calling my dad and I'm like, Winnii ran away. She ran away. You have to come out and help me. Like, I was absolutely freaking out because I was scared that if I wasn't fast enough, she would like turn a corner and would just disappear and I'd like never see her again. So my heart was like pounding in that moment because I'm her mom, okay? I want her to be safe. And lucky for me, just before I was about to have a massive panic attack, Winnii realizes that she needs to pee because I guess all the running just got her bladder all worked up. And she goes off the road and onto this snow pile by a sidewalk and just starts to pee, which gives me enough time to reach her and like grab her up in my arms. And I was like, why did you do that? Why did you run away? So yeah, ever since a few days ago, we literally make sure that when we open the front door, she is nowhere in sight, because if she runs away again, I don't know guys, like that was insane. And maybe telling the story, it doesn't sound as scary, but when you're in the moment and your puppy has like run off, they just run away, like that's terrifying. And yeah, now my legs are like polka dots because all those bruises. Not fun. But anyways, here's another mini story time because Mandy and I, she was in my room the other night and we were just talking about stuff that happened to us from our childhood. And I thought of this random story and it's so weird. You guys are gonna think I am so weird. But this one day, my sister and I went to Tim Hortons. We ordered these chocolate Timbits and I had this idea in my head that I would prank my sister Mandy, and she falls for things really easily. No offense, Mandy, but you kind of do. So we're eating these Timbits, and I decide to take one of them, and I put it in my pocket, and I bring it home with me, and she has no idea that I've done this. By the way, I think I was like maybe 10 when this happened, so she would have been like 8. So when I get home, I take this chocolate Timbit, and I like mold it to make it look like dog poop, okay? I artistically sculpted this Timbit into a piece of poop, and I put it in my hand, and I walk up to my sister, and I was like, Mandy, I found some dog poop. I wonder what it tastes like. And I rip off a piece of it, I put it in my mouth, and you should have seen her face. She was like, don't do that, you're gonna die. And she was like freaking out. She was like,
I'm gonna go get mom. You have to go to the hospital. You can't ingest that. You can't put that in your mouth.
And then after a while I was like, Mandy, it's literally a Timbit. I literally molded a Timbit. And then I think ever since that day, she's never gotten Timbits ever again. She doesn't even like chocolate cake, so I think I've kind of ruined that for her. I don't know why in my mind I was like, let me do a poop prank today, but I did. And then the last pet story I have is so random. It's kind of sad in a way, but also kind of funny. So basically, when my mom was really young, probably like 9 or something, she had this cat that she really loved. And I don't know what the cat's name was, so let's call him like Toby. okay? And Toby was like the love of her life. He was beside her all of the time. She took him like everywhere she went. It was like her buddy, her partner in crime. And one day Toby ran away and my mom was super, super upset. And I think a week went by or something and her parents were telling her like, you know what, I think the cat's gone. I think Toby's gone. We'll get you another cat. It'll be okay. And she was so upset. She was like,
No, I love Toby so much.
and so one day her aunt came over to the house and while she was pulling into the driveway, she saw, and this is kind of gross, but she saw this kind of fuzzy thing that was run over on the road and it had the same fur as Toby. So she was like, uh-oh, Toby's a pancake. So she walked in the house and she had to tell it to the family very gently. She was like,
Yeah, so I was driving and Toby's on the road.
and so my mom like bursts out crying. She's so, so upset. So they decide to have a funeral for this cat, which I think is kind of cute. I think honestly, when animals become so close to you and are a part of your family, I think that's kind of something, you know, that is good to do. So they actually pay a lot for this funeral to get this really nice box for him to put him in the ground. And they invite like all their friends and family and they literally have a cat funeral for Toby. So after this funeral, a week goes by. My mom's finally coming to terms with his death. She's okay. She's had the funeral. She said her last words. She is fine. Well, about a week later, there is scratching at the front door and my mom goes and opens the door and there, standing in the doorway, is Toby. Toby, he was alive. Honestly, like I would give anything to see my mom's reaction back then because you think literally your best friend, your little kitty has gone and now he's back in front of you. He's back. So they concluded that whatever the aunt saw on the road, it could have been anything. It wasn't Toby. It literally wasn't Toby. So they had a funeral for a completely different animal. I don't even know. It could have been a fur hat. Like they just had a complete funeral and it wasn't Toby. So it's actually a happy ending if you think about it because then she was reunited with her cat. Everything was great. Like that's the story. My mom just told me that a few days ago and I was like, oh, that's interesting. When does that ever happen? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed these mini story times about pets, I guess. Today's theme is about pets. And yeah, I hope you have an awesome rest of your day and until next time, bye!